We're cooking tonight and we're preparing some delicious fried cauliflower. So I'm going to give you the beginner's guide to fried cauliflower. And should you decide once your mouth stops watering and you've had some of this in it that there's some little tweak that you want to make, then you can share that with us. So let's get to it. It's very important that we get our veggies in. And sometimes we need a little extra kick to those veggies in order for our families to eat them. So I am giving you the beginner's guide to fried cauliflower. You know what? I thought this would be something that was very difficult to do to get the texture of the cauliflower just right because most of your little ones are not going to want that cauliflower to be soggy, and sometimes that's the reason why they won't eat it. But we're going to fix some cauliflower that is going to still hold its texture and it's going to look pretty. And I promise you, it's going to be much better than a chicken nugget. So let's get to it. Our list of ingredients is quite short. So let's talk about what you'll need. First of all, you're going to need one good size head of cauliflower that you've broken into about 1 inch florets. And I say approximately 1 inch florets because you may have a few a little smaller and you may have a couple that are a little larger. So don't beat yourself up. You're also going to want to place into a bowl or into a Ziploc bag 1 cup of cornstarch and 1 cup of cornmeal. Then you're going to season this mixture. You can use your salt, your pepper, paprika. I cheated and I used about a teaspoon and a half of Ole Bay Seasoning and then tossed in a little bit of red pepper. You're going to marinate your cauliflower in a bowl of with about a half can of coconut milk. And if you're doing more than one cauliflower, then obviously you're going to need the whole can. But for one head, 1/2 can was enough. About a half can of coconut milk, a 1/4 cup of Frank's hot sauce, and if you really like it kicked up, you can certainly add more. Or if you like a different hot sauce, you could certainly use that as well. I added in about a teaspoon of oil just so that all of this marinade would come together. You're going to mix it up real good, put the cauliflower in it, get the cauliflower good and covered so that it just looks very pink. And I sat mine into the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Now, when it was time to fry it, obviously you're going to need oil. I didn't put the cooking oil on this list, but you will need some cooking oil. And when it's time to serve it, we served ours with blue cheese dressing. Or you may even decide to just add a little extra Franks. Or if you have something that you know you like with a little buffalo-y type cauliflower, then you can certainly add that. But let's all start kind of in the same place. So blue cheese is good. Unless you're a ranch person, then you can add some ranch dressing. But I was good here. So this is going to be short and sweet. So let's get this cauliflower prepared. All right, I have some cauliflower that I washed and I put it on some paper towel, and I have it on the paper towel. I'm going to work with this bowl first, then we'll put everything in here. First, in here, I need some Frank's Red Hot, and I need about 1/4 cup at least of Frank's. And it doesn't have to be real exact, but for your sake, I'm going to make sure that I have it pretty exact. Now I've got a 1/8 cup here. Get that little piece of cauliflower out. Okay, so I'm going to pour in 1/8 and 1/8. That's 1/4. I'm I'll be back to that, so we won't put that away. I'm also going to need some oil, and I think I'm going to use some grapeseed oil, and I just need enough so that there will be some coating between the buffalo sauce and the cauliflower. So I've mixed grapeseed oil and cauliflower. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the cauliflower. So if you can see it, I'll put it here. I'll get the cauliflower. It's pretty dry. And I'm going to place it into this bowl. Let these get well coated. I'll give them a little shake and flip in a little while. If you get them too big, you know, you can always break them down. Thinking I may need to cut this one. He's pretty big. I'm going to split this one in half. There we go. This one I'm going to clean up a little bit. All right, I have my pieces of cauliflower. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it, just kind of flip it around in the bowl. Try not to get it in my face. But I want to flip these around so they can get well coated between the oil and the buffalo sauce. See how nice and red they're getting? But we're just flipping those around. Now the big guy and I like a little spice, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't do it this way. We'd do it a little bit different. But got the buffalo sauce and a little bit of coconut milk to this. I think it's going to help with the coating. You won't need this whole can. We'll just need a portion of it. So I'm actually going to measure it out. 1, 2, 3. Let's see how that looks. I actually stirred up the, oh yeah, that's much better. So I'm just folding this over. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator until I'm ready to. The big guy came into the kitchen, so things got a little noisy, so I had to go back to voiceover. Now, I got the Ziploc bag, and in that Ziploc bag, we're going to add in some cornstarch. And I picked up this bottle of cornstarch, and this rascal, the top doesn't want to come off, of course. And to be honest with you, I forgot. And I was going to do all this in advance, but here we are. What a mess! This stuff can fly. So we're going to take out a couple scoops of cornstarch and put it down into the bag. And I tell you what, I ended up with a very good batter. So I'm using my 1/2 cup scoop, and I'm putting in about a cup of cornstarch, about. And so I'm just kind of looking at it, and I put in 1 for good measure. So if you want to do that, you can certainly do that, because I was looking at how much cauliflower that I had, and I thought, well, I better add just a little taste more. Now we need some cornmeal, and I'm going to do a little cleaning here. So I'm taking the cornmeal, and I was going to cheat and try to pour it right there, but rather than make any more of a mess than what I already had, let's see how we can fix this up. Now, of course, you know, you can do this in a bowl, but I was supposed to be saving myself the cleanup. I don't think that worked too well. So here we are. Now, just keep in mind that you really can add more cornmeal. and there's not a problem with that. So I'm scooping, I'm trying to be good to you and give you a more accurate measurement. But in the end, you look at it, feel it, and if you don't think it's enough, you can certainly add more. Now I'm going to clean up things and get it better, and then we're going to be ready to get our cauliflower into our cornmeal mixture. So we need a few extra things. So here's our Old Bay, and I'm cheating. Yes, I'm cheating, guys. And I'm starting with a teaspoon, but you know me, I'm going to look at the color, see where it is. If it doesn't look like the color that I think it should be, then I'm going to add more. Now, we want salt, we want pepper, and I'm going to add a little cayenne, you know, to mine, a little cayenne, red pepper into this mixture. So the 1 teaspoon did pretty good. And I think mainly because there wasn't, you know, it's not a big, it's not a large amount of frying mixture that we're going to be putting together. So here's our salt. We're going to add in a little bit of salt. And my salt was low in my salt container, so I'm just adding in, there's our teaspoon. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to add some black pepper, and that's going to be it. I did not want to get too heavy with that because, you know, sometimes franks can be a little intense. And so once you know, and we've marinated our cauliflower in that mixture. So we don't want to add too much salt. And we certainly don't want too much pepper because we do want the family to enjoy it and yet and still have that little punch that we like. So I'm just taking a moment and kind of mixing everything up, getting the flour, the cornstarch, I keep calling it flour, the cornstarch and the cornmeal together. And I'm still looking at it each time. So let's get ready to fry. I'm using my my Chinese tools and with my chopsticks. I use those a lot when I'm doing frying on the stove or mixing on the stove. They're so convenient. And so anytime you're at a Chinese restaurant, maybe ask for at least 1 or 2 extra sets of chopsticks because they do come in handy. And of course, you can always order them on Amazon. Now, here's where I still have a few in the bowl, and you can see that the chopsticks are working for some, and for others, it's giving me a hard time. And it's not that the cauliflower is a problem. The problem is that a couple of those really were a little large, and they just kept slipping off those chopsticks. So let's go to the big thing. We're going to use, we're going to change up the tools and get those things into that mixture so we can fry up the last of our cauliflower. I tell you what, guys, this really did fry quickly. And I'm using my saucepan because I wanted it to fry deep and I wanted to be able to do it pretty quickly and not make a gigantic mix. Now I'm looking into the oven every now and then, and that's because I have the convection oven on and I'm just fixing up some quick wings in the convection oven because after all, you know, you need wings with your franks and so that's what we're doing. But the wings are not the focus tonight. So I'm just finishing up. We're almost at the end and these are going to be so good. So we're putting in the last of those little cauliflowers in. I'm trying not to crowd the saucepan. And so as I take some out, I'll put some in. And I've already tasted one. And wow, it is so tasty. And I love the texture because I have to be honest with you, sometimes the fried vegetables that I get are a little too mushy for me. So here they are. Aren't they pretty? They're nice and golden. Oh, and there's our wings. They're out too. They've been in the convect oven. I put a little franks on them too and threw them into the convection oven for about 30 minutes and flip them over so they're ready to go. Now let's look at these babies. Mmm, 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 mmm. I put a little of that extra sauce on top of both the wings and the cauliflower, and then served a little bit of blue cheese next to it. Oh my goodness, they were good. The big guy liked it. He liked the fact that he could come back and get some extra cauliflower. And you know what? It was one of those dinners that was easy to prepare. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed being in the kitchen. Together we've chatted and accomplished so much. So if you like cooking and decorating and sharing and haven't joined the family, please do so by selecting the subscribe button and by tapping that little bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I upload. And also, please support the channel by giving me a thumbs up before you leave. I am so looking forward to seeing you right here at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where we work hard, we love God and family, and we know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. Have a wonderful and blessed day.